Okay.
Lovely.
Done.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today for the second webinar and open mic. And we hope that, well, you're going to have fun. We hope to learn something, and we hope that you're going to learn something as well. And thank you very much for being here and for agreeing to present. And let's get started. Okay, you don't want to do it, please. Okay, there we go. So these are the basic house rules. There's nothing fancy here. We would like you to keep your microphone on mute, because if everybody comes, and I think there are like 90 people who signed up, then it will be quite loud. Please put all the comments in the chat room. One of us, whoever is presenting, one of us is always going to be on the lookout and checking the chat. Sessions are about to last 10 or 15 minutes, but you know, we are open-minded, and if you cannot still stay until the very end, then of course we understand, and there will be a recording, so even if you miss something, then you can catch up later on. Each of the sessions is going to be followed by a short questions and answers session. Please put those questions in the chat room as well. And for the presenters, we would like to ask everybody kindly to read the question out loud before you answer it, because last time we had this issue with, you know, not all the answers are easy to decode, and it wasn't always very obvious in the recording to what the presenter was replying. At the end, there will be also a bigger questions and answer session. And yes, we are recording, so like with the first session, we will be sharing everything with everybody at one point. Vita is great at working with those things, so she will prepare the recording for us later. This is the program for the session today, so you can see it here. There were two little changes, I think, but everybody is going to introduce the topic and themselves as well when we go. So we have Miro board, we have Foxit reader, we have modifying Zoom for young learners, planning and preparing a lesson, online stirrers, activities for juniors, speaking activities, favorite activities from Tatiana's students, using Twitter in class, and then hopefully Olga hasn't confirmed yet, or we haven't heard anything from her, but we hope that she will join us here with an interesting angle of what, as a parent, what her view is on like online education and what worked in her case and what hasn't. Tatiana is there. Can we let Tatiana in? And then questions and answers as well. Yes. I would like to thank everybody for joining us from different places in the world and different places in Russia, and we have a lot of amazing presenters today. And now we're going to start. Okay. Let's go. I will thank you. That's it. Chat, we are ready.
Okay, then. Basically, I wanted to show you something I found actually a couple of years ago, but somehow I only started working with this service recently, by the way, because I have experienced some problems with my younger learners classes. Because when I teach in real classroom, I have lots of things I can share with my students. Well, first of all, we have the same space. We are in the same room, and that means a lot. And I have my puppet, say hello to Dex, and I have my little toys, which I can use as props. I have my pictures. I have lots of things I can share. Well, not anymore, because we are separated by millions of cable kilometers, whatever. I don't know. I cannot reach out to them and drag them physically into my world and share it with them. So I started working with Miro board, trying to recreate this online, basically. And I'm going to show you what I do with them. So I'm sharing my screen here, and this is my Miro board. And it's a very convenient tool because it's very, very fast. Because, for example, if you work with Google and you copy paste your images, it takes a while, and you can do it. You cannot do it simultaneously while teaching, but Miro board allows you to do that, and I'll show you why it's such a great thing. So first of all, this is a memory game I used yesterday as a warm activity when I was teaching kids I didn't know at all, because it was a pro bono event for the community. So basically, we revised the shapes, and then every kid chose a shape, and we, for example, a heart, a white heart, and I opened what was underneath. Come on, Miro board. Can we please? Great. Okay. So let's go. So, okay, here we go. And there was a TV underneath. And I asked, okay, tell me about your favorite TV program. And they started sharing. That is good. And then somebody else chose the sun. So I opened the sun, and there was a football. And then somebody else chose this, and there was a computer game hiding. And so it basically gave us 10 minutes of interaction, and there was an element of surprise and an element of game, and they really, really enjoyed doing that. I'm sure that there are other resources which allow you to do that, like including your presentations, but that is something that I found very useful. Then here, it's a reading follow-up task. How do you take care of your pet? So basically, I started with a simple picture of a pet. In my case, it was a cat, but I have a second follow-up, a dog. And then I asked the children how we take care of our pets. Do cats drink milk? They said yes. And this is what I did. Milk. Here we go. Okay. Which picture do I like? I like this one. So, and here we go. We can give our cat some milk. And if you have a couple of extra pictures, you can erase them very simply. And then kids started playing with it. They gave me lots of suggestions, and we found out that cats like mice, and somehow they like rubber ducks. I don't know why. And we also decided to give this cat some balloons, just for the fun of it. Again, it was interactive, and it allowed us to share this world with balloons for the cat. And so then this is an activity which I did with my pre-A1 student, and here you go. So at the moment we are talking about transportations, and our target structures are: I go to the library by bus, I would like to go to the zoo by taxi, something like that. And then each kid said, okay, I would like to go to the library by rocket. And what I did was I connected, and I put a name over a kid here. For example, let's say Nastya. And Nastya had left her mark on my board. And because we can create these little connections between us, between our world, between the task and the kids, it becomes more meaningful to them. It's not just looking at the presentation and saying, I want to go to the moon in my spacecraft. It's leaving their marks. It's controlling the lesson a little bit. And I can share the control with them because I can assign the control of my computer to somebody else via Zoom. And really, kids leave a little bit happier. Then here's the task. It's status preparation. I think if you're into Cambridge exams, you know this task. Where is the car? Okay, put the car under the taxi, please. And so what they did is they drag it. Then they can change the position of the car. So the beauty of it is that you can reuse this task many, many times. For example, Masha wants to put the car under the taxi, but Petty wants to put the car on the train, and it's fine. We can do that. We can even multiply this car and have 2 cars here, or 3 or 4. So basically it's giving a little bit of control over, and then they can, as a next step, the children can tell you what to do with the picture. So it's not you acting as an examiner, as a mentor, as a teacher. It's them producing more language, being engaged, giving you giving you some directions what to do. And again, I've tried it with my 5 super minds, and it went well. We produced lots of language, and everybody participated. And yes, okay, then moving on. This is my CheeWay role play. So I've already talked about my CheeWay 3 disaster when I tried to use a book task, and I couldn't because the pictures were too small, there were too many of them, the task was too complicated for them. So I started using this to elicit more language and to play role plays. So basically, this is my restaurant. Welcome. And I've got here 2 kids. Let's give them names. So this will be Fedya, and this kid will be Serezha. And then, of course, they need to order something. And we've got 2 menus here. We've got a cafe menu here, and we've got the CheeWay menu here, because I want them to produce the language that we are learning at the moment, obviously. So they choose, like, can I have a cup of tea, please? I'm like, yes, I'm going to the kitchen. I'm looking for some tea. Okay, this seems like a good cup of tea. And then I'm dragging it to the kid. For example, Fedya wants a cup of tea, and I make the cup disappear because Fedya has drunk it all, obviously. And if you want to be super prepared, then of course you can choose all your icons in advance and place them here. And if a kid wants some salad, you just copy paste it and you use it to feed the character. And then you're like super prepared. But not everybody has a lot of time for preparation nowadays, and because the board is so fast, you can find whatever you want. Like, for example, ice cream. There are hundreds and thousands of types of ice cream to choose from, and then your kids can produce a little bit of extra language because they need to communicate to you what kind of ice cream they actually want. So when I've tried this with my kids, they started, oh, but I want that blue ice cream with a little bit of red on top, that red and blue ice cream. So they started using adjectives together with nouns, which was cool. I was surprised, to be honest. Okay, you can also use this board to create collages and different projects to talk about your students' lives. For instance, here's another project which I did with my little pre-A1 student. We're using Academy Stars 1 with her, and her name is Luba, and she was talking about her family. So basically what we did was we used Google image search and we looked for mom pictures. Like, okay, then she chose her picture. So for example, I like this one. So here we go. We can resize it. So we put it here, and then we start talking about her mom, and I started writing. And basically this was a good idea for me to do because that motivated her to produce full sentences. It's not like, Mom, what's your name? Anna. I would put Anna here, and I'm like, okay, would you like it? She's like, nah. I'm like, okay, her name is Anna, please. And by the end of the activity, she was producing full sentences without any prompting. Then, okay, how is it done? Well, I'm going to show you one slide from my lesson now. So I hope you can see it. Okay, here we go. So basically, it's a recipe, how you make a milkshake, a smoothie. So you cut up the banana, you put some milk, you add some sugar, strawberries, you mix everything, and then you're done. And then I wanted to do this game with them. I wanted them to come up with their own recipes. So what we did, we need to choose a blender first. And Google gives you this opportunity. So for example, this looks like a good device. So we put it here, we resize it. Then we need some monsters because we want it to be a game. Again, I need to go to Google image search. I type in monster. We've got lots of monsters here. And now I'm waiting for the kids to choose. I was giving them a little bit of autonomy. Okay, I like this one because it comes from the Urban Foundation's Teach My Monster to Read. Okay, cool. Here we go. So this is my monster. And then we need to choose what the kids want to put into their blender. So for instance, I don't know. Icon Finder is good because the pictures are simple and at the same time they're recognizable. So for example, I don't know, I want to add a shoe. Okay, this looks like a good one. I want to add a frog because it's a monster smoothie. Here we go. Looks like a good frog. And I want a dinosaur. I want this one. Okay. And then we start playing. Like, for example, we can even introduce simple math sums here, like how many dinosaurs do we want in us? Smoothie. Okay, we want 3 dinosaurs. 1, 2, 3. We want 2 frogs, 1 and 2, and we want 2 shoes. Okay, and then we mix it, and then I ask, okay, how many things are there in the blender? Which is good because we support integrated learning at this stage. And then I need a nice milkshake because I want to give it to my monster. This looks cool. Okay, ready. We blend it. Blend it, ready. And here we go. We give it to the monster, and then we ask if the monster enjoyed it or not. I think the monster liked it. Okay, and then I would like to create one more task for you, like because basically this game is great. This board is great because you can move things around, and it's perfect for playing the direction game. Like, for example, how do I get to the bank? Well, you need to go straight on, and then you need to turn right or left. Okay, so of course you can look for maps here. So Google Classroom maps, but then you will probably see something like that. So I'm like, no, don't want it. Cancel. Okay, or you can use the book. Now, I have it opened here. Can we please open my Foxit reader? Thank you very much. Okay, so this is Prepare to Book, and I need to enlarge the picture. I need to print screen it. So here we go. I need to copy it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paste it here. So it will take some time. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, and then I'm gonna choose a character again. I want a dog. Okay, I like this pink one. This looks cool. Okay, so the dog is at the police station, and the dog needs to get to the cinema because there is a new film about dogs that's on, and the children need to walk the dog through the city, basically. They give you the direction, you move the dog, and you get to the cinema. Again, it's a little bit better than just asking them to open the books and like, okay, you open the book, student A, you are at the bus station, student B, you are at the post office, okay. Now you need to get to the sports center and you need to get to the university. So please give yourself some directions how to get there. Well, this is better, in my opinion. And then you can also play board games here. So basically same principle. You need to copy paste something. So let's find a board game on my computer. So let's say phonics, there are phonics board games here somewhere. Games, board games. Okay, let's take this one. So I need to resize it, then I copy paste it. So copy paste, go back to the board. And then choose the characters. Here we go, we have a cat, a dog. And we're gonna have a cat. I like this one, looks happy. You put them on start. You either use your magic box or you say stop, you open it, and oh, you've got 2, and it goes up. It's a sock. Okay, excellent. And then you repeat it for other players. And another thing that I would like to recommend is looking at this. These are hotkeys for Miro board, and they are very, very useful because not every option can be accessed by using the panel. Okay, and I'm done.
Vita, have a look at the chat. There are some questions of. We were just having a discussion about dinosaurs, but there are some questions as well, so please have a look.
I'm feeling carnivorous today, sorry. Okay, that distractions on the board. Okay, I'm gonna read it first and then I'm gonna try a chance. There are a lot of distractions on the board at the same time. How can you stop students doing different tasks? Well, guys, because you're not students, you're professionals, I put everything I had on one board because I didn't want to switch between 1 million boards, or in my case 3, because I'm using a free account. But of course, when I have students, I make sure that there is only one task visible. Okay, I'm going to show you. So basically, showing you my screen, go into my Miro boards. Okay, you can see your boards here. And for example, the CheeWay board. And I'm enlarging this my map. Map, please. So I'm moving it like that, enlarging it a little bit more. And then all my students can see is the restaurant, for example. Or if we go back, there is another board. And here you will find my family project. So all the student can see is a family project. And then you...
Oh, you muted. Vita.
Was my mic off the whole time?
Yes, no, just for a second.
Okay. Okay, does it mean that you can put all your lesson on the board and then just navigate around the board during the lesson? Yes, if your lesson is only based on the Miro board activities, then yeah, why not? If I usually use 1 or 2 Miro board activities in the lesson because I like to mix and match. I thought we were going to put the no. We like feeding our monsters. We don't like eating them. Sorry. Comment in Zoom of Nadezhda, yes, make sure that commenting, annotating in Zoom is off before it's time. Very good. It's a very good point. So it's an option that I use a lot. Switch it off and on only when you need it, because otherwise it's a disaster. Do the children get distracted when you do the copy paste? No, not really. They usually get very excited because it's their choice and they see the object that they want appear on the screen. It's like magic for them, I guess, in some way. So no, as of now, I haven't had any problems with that. Maybe later when they get tired, I don't know. Well, I guess that's all. Do children get the link or you share? I share because basically there is no difference. If you want the children to edit the board together with you, they need to register. Not sure that you can do that with 5-year-olds or even 8 or 10-year-olds. With teenagers, yes, possible, probably.
Oh, one more question, Vita. How complicated is it to give them the access to your board, to give them, let them play with it?
I just, to let them play, I just share and I give somebody the control over my computer.
Okay.
Yes, if you want, for example, 5 children working together simultaneously on your board, you need all 5 of them to register. Otherwise, they will be able to see the board, but they will not be able to edit it. So basically, it's like sharing your screen.
With one child at a time in control of what?
Yes, if you want to give them the control over your computer, then yes.
Cool.
But there is another problem because some of like I'm working with a computer and some of them are working with iPads. There can be some compatibility issues. So you need to experiment with that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yes, that's it.
That's it for me then.
Super. Yeah. Thank you very much,
Thank
Vita.
you for listening.
Thank you. And the next one in line is Svetlana. Vita, you have forgotten to introduce yourself, so you have the last chance to say something about yourself to people who may not know you. Come on.
Okay, hi, I'm Vita. I'm a BKC teacher. I've been teaching since 2012, have over like 8 or 7,000 hours of classroom experience. This is all you need to know about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Vita. Thank you. Okay, and the next one is Svetlana, who's going to tell us about using Foxit in class. Sveta, please start with introductions. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, may I not introduce myself?
Oh, shall I?
Okay, I'm a teacher in BKC as well as the assistant director of studies in BKC. I'm responsible for several schools, and I'm trying my best in this situation to help our teachers, so experiment and try to share things that I have on my mind. Yeah, I'm teaching all the levels, especially enjoy teaching kids, adults, and sometimes teenagers, but not juniors, I'm sorry. And exam classes also are interesting for me. Okay, my presentation isn't as interactive as Vita's, but she has already started showing us some things from the Foxit reader, so it's like a nice bridge towards my presentation. Thank you for this, Vita. I'm going to start with my presentation, and I will show you. I will share my screen with you. Okay, the first slide. Hold on a second, it should work, and my computer is a bit slow, so forgive me for this. Yeah, Foxit reader. Perhaps some of you already have it, so I'm going to talk about tools and possible applications in the class. Ta-da, applications. So I use it for homework check with my teenagers and as well with my super minds, to be honest. Controlled practice, open class work and feedback after pair work and group work in breakout rooms. Commentary, I write commentaries in the course book in the whole class work. And it's easy to transfer images to your PowerPoint presentation, Word documents, Miro board, or etc. Yeah, Vita has already demonstrated it. Okay, I'll have a closer look at it. So the first, you can see, okay, I will show it like this. So if you want to copy paste from your course book, in my case, it's English file third edition elementary. So basically you just need to go to the snapshot option and you have to choose the element to copy. For example, in my case, I chose the pictures from the course book. The lesson was connected with food vocabulary and countable and uncountable nouns. And after that, you copy paste or use Control V. And here we are. Like I've got this picture in my PowerPoint presentation. And you can do whatever you want with this picture. Yes, maybe writing some text or maybe using it for control practice, for the leading discussion or some pre-teaching before working with the text. And if you want to write comments in the book, in the Foxit reader, you go to the option comment. You choose typewriter if you want to write something. For example, I was doing it in my class with my students. We were discussing things on the plates, like what have we got here, like chicken breast, tomatoes, some sweet corn, chocolate cake, sushi. If you want to have some more graphic and want to highlight or underline or match things in the text or in the book, you use this option. You've got a pencil, or you've got the circles and lines and arrows and even clouds, okay? And then you can, for example, circle. In my case, we were discussing the dishes, and then we had to match the dishes to the people from the text as a prediction task. And I was doing in the lesson with my students in the course book using Foxit Reader. And also I wanted to pay, just a second, my students' attention to some vocabulary in the text. In this case, it was takeaway and some other things below. Okay. What else? Homework check. This is from, I use this with my teenagers because they don't have answer keys in their books. So I wrote here, yes. So first, students check in pairs, check their homework in pairs. I monitor when I go into the breakout rooms. Then I listen to some, maybe if there are any problems, of course, in the whole class feedback, I focus on them. Then I share the copy with the right answers in the open class with my teens. And then I focus on the areas to be improved. Yes, so if basically there are some mistakes here, then I focus and elicit the right answer and ask for the justification. What else? Just a second. Yes. What are the things to have in mind? So when you use, when you comment or when you write something in the book, when you close it, don't forget to cancel the changes. Otherwise, it will be saved with all these words and circles and lines in the book. Or what I do in my class, I print the pages that I need for my lesson in PDF, and I work on them and save for the following lessons. All right. Here is an example of one of the tasks that I did with my elementary group. Here they did this exercise together in pairs. They matched the food to the names or numbers to the names of the food, and they circled those items that I wanted to focus on. It was pronunciation and some grammar issues. Yes, like some Russian students, they say biscuits, not biscuits. I don't know. They have problems with crisps and lettuce and fish and whatever. Yeah, so I circled those things that I wanted to focus. Again, Foxit Reader gives you this opportunity to work like this in the class. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Another thing that I wanted to show you, and I have prepared a book. Hold on a second. It's here. So this is a listening task in the student book, English File Elementary. So this was the listening task. And for example, write in the book, instead of like putting things onto the presentation or maybe Google Documents, which can save you basically time, you can do, I don't know, pre-teaching vocabulary. Yes, for example, in my case, it's an example. Yes, pre-teach before the listening, reading, like contestant. Yes, it's a noun, singular, countable, plural, contestants, and some other things that you would like them to know before they start listening to the text. Okay, or for example, TV presenter, you can draw lines. I will show you how I can do it. For example, yes, contestants. They are contestants. Here you are. So this is your visual right here in the book, and you don't need to search for something else in the Google. What else I wanted to show you? This is the teacher's book. And for example, some communicative tasks from the teacher's book that sometimes we use in the end of the lesson or in the beginning of the lesson, yes, to revise material from the previous lessons. The same thing, I used snapshots, so I copied this communicative task from the book, put it onto the Google document for student B and another one for students for student A. And I didn't spend much time on typing it myself, just copied it and sent the links to my students, and they did this task in groups. That's it. I'm done. Thank you very much for.
Yes, Svetlana, thank you very much. Do we have any questions from anyone?
Okay. I just want to say that Sveta hooked me on Foxit Reader before
yes.
that. I was using.
Me too. Me too.
I was using just a Adobe Reader or something, but Foxit offers so much more, and there are so many tools that you can use as a teacher, like wiping out some parts of the books, typing there. Yeah, highly recommend switching to it.
You basically just need to find it, download the free option, because it's
free.
there. I mean, there are different ones, of course, different plans, but the plain one, the free one, is really very good already, and you're gonna fall in love for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Thank you, Sveta. Okay. Next one is Ben Brooks, who is going to introduce himself, and then he's going to tell us about modifying Zoom for teaching young learners. Let's go. Hello, Ben. Thank you for coming.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. And can you please tell everybody something about yourself? And then
thank you so much for having me, Anka. So I'm based in Moscow, and I teach English mostly in primary in a rather big school, which is called New School. And I also do some teacher training as a freelancer, and also teach some preschool kids in different projects. So what I would like to share is, can I share my screen? Yeah, okay. So what I wanted to share is my experience of putting together online lessons, because I have found myself like really enjoying teaching online, and I would like to talk about putting together an online lesson materials for an online lesson for young learners, and I'll be talking about kids who are maybe like 6 or 7 years old, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when I was like replanning my lessons for teaching online, the main question was like, what's the difference between online and offline lessons? And actually, I can't say that I found like massive difference. Like clearly, we're not in the same space, so like most of our favorite games don't work. Clearly, there is a question of pair work. Ben has talked a lot about that, and I think it's really relevant as a problem if we talk about younger kids who are not really very confident with breakout rooms. And then there is this question of like, how do you set up tasks that involve movement or TPR? And like this looks a bit challenging and complicated. However, I thought, okay, we're not in the same space, but it looks like I can adapt most of my materials or games we enjoy with kids to online classes. And then I don't really teach very big groups of young learners, so if we can do pair work, we will start with at least some open pairs during the class, and like maybe gradually train kids to use the breakout rooms. And actually, all the tasks which involve movement are okay, just need to clear some space and make sure that if you are modeling something or showing a movement, kids do have the opportunity to see you, to see what you are showing, and actually to move themselves. There is a problem with like taking off headphones so they can step back from the table where they are sitting, but that's all very manageable. And so I would like to show how I put a lesson together using a PowerPoint presentation. So let me just demonstrate a PowerPoint I put together for a class that I had with beginner students. That was actually their first class. We started a couple of weeks ago, and here it is. Okay. Right, so what I do for most of my young learner classes is prepare sort of a plan or layout of the lesson. And here, if I teach online, I do it on a slide. In a okay. In an offline class, I would just typically do it on the board. And so here we have different sections of the lesson. Because these students don't read yet, I use little emoji, and these are the symbols that can help students what's going to happen. So we'll look at the plan together, and then we do a bit of singing. I'm sure these pictures are familiar to most teachers who teach young learners. We use super simple songs, and here what I found useful is actually not switching from a presentation to like a YouTube page and then demonstrating the song from there, but actually downloading the file onto my computer so that I can do this and open the song like this from my computer. Why I think this is easier than opening it from YouTube is because everyone knows that when you open stuff on YouTube, there are lots of like banners around and lots of ads, and sometimes they're like really ridiculous. So to avoid that, I prefer to download files on my computer, and also it just looks a bit safer in terms of like loading things, and if the internet is slow, it's a bit safer, I thought. So we, here we go. We sing a song, and then we like ask each other, "How are you?" Because that was the first lesson, we worked a little bit with flashcards, with vocabulary. And again, this allows you to do the same kind of drills you would be doing in a real classroom. So one of my favorites is, for example, loud and quiet. If I say the word quietly, the kids repeat it loudly, and then we would swap. So we would do the same here. And then another fun activity which I really enjoy doing in an offline class is the one which is sometimes called come up and touch. That would be the one where you put flashcards on the board and then name a flashcard, and then either several kids would run to touch the flashcard, or maybe kids would do it one by one. So actually here we do the same, and we also play touch the card, touch the picture. And of course, I don't really know which picture the students are touching, but it's fun for them, it's engaging, and I think it technically serves the same person, the same purpose as it does in the classroom where you see kids. Of course, you can't really check that they're pointing at the correct picture, but not really the point, and usually it's like a rather safe activity to use it this way. So again, transferring the normal activities to online lessons. Using drills here, again, kids can repeat things, you'll see everyone. I then used some material from the course book, and as other colleagues have mentioned, it's easy to copy-paste things into PowerPoint presentation. Another super convenient thing I use is adding sound files straight into the presentation, so that, again, you don't have to switch between different windows or programs, and you're just demonstrating the screen to the students, and they can hear things quite easily. So that's one of the things that PowerPoint allows you to do. Just insert sound from the file, and then you pick up the file from your computer. We also play pretty much the same games we would play in a normal lesson. So this is more or less like a game which is probably known as robots or something like that, where we first of all looked at the different actions, drilled them a little bit, and then I say the action demonstrated, kids repeat the action, and then we did all those things. And again, if you look at the actions here, this is something like classroom language. This is super easy to do even in front of your laptop. So that would be stand up, sit down, listen, read a book, look, point, and then it's all very easy to play, even if you're in an online class. One more thing that I was at first maybe a bit confused about, but found a solution later on, is managing rewards, because in a real life, in a offline classroom, I would be using stickers excessively, and that's actually one thing that I really, really miss from offline classes. I guess this opportunity to give everyone a sticker after checking homework or everything. But what I remembered about was a website, a platform which is called Classroom Dojo. And so this is a website. I will have all links on another screen, and I think we can save them and share. This is a website which allows you to assign a monster to each student, and then when the class is finished, the monsters receive points for different things. And you can actually, as a teacher, set what criteria you want to assess. So you can, for example, give out points for active participation in class, or speaking only English, or completing homework. And then you can choose this yourself, which is super convenient and easy. And so in the end of the lesson, we all go to Classroom Dojo. I normally open it on my screen. Here we go. Oop. Okay, yeah, that's the one. Oops, something went wrong. Okay. So we would normally, just in the end of the classroom, go together to this class dojo, and then we look at the monsters, and everyone gets a point for a particular thing. Okay. So for me, PowerPoint worked out really, really well, and I at some point found myself doing that quite quickly. So oops, the wrong presentation, sorry. Okay. Right, nope, not the one. So the tools that I was using to put this together. Okay, yes, that's the one. Yeah. So the tools I use to put together a lesson in PowerPoint are the PowerPoint. I also like using emoji keyboards. Here is the link, because there are those small symbols which are fun for kids, and especially for kids who are not able to read in English yet. They're like good symbols to hint what stage we are at, what is required from them. And again, I feel like there is a lot to do with emoji. We use super simple songs on YouTube and the flashcards, which are like openly accessible to everyone. And I prefer to download YouTube videos rather than open them from YouTube. Here is the link to the website, which does it like quickly. You just paste there the link, and it allows you to save the video to your computer. We use Kids Box, Primary Activity Box, like the usual books I would be using at school. We use Class Dojo for rewards, and we also use Quizlet for homework. And Quizlet is really good for putting the flashcards, vocabulary flashcards together, so that kids can practice that at home with their parents. That's pretty much all I was going to share today, and can go to questions, I guess.
Yes, we have some questions in the chat.
Okay, let me
the first one. There is one question from Andrei. How much time does it take to prepare a PowerPoint lesson like the one that you've just
by
shown?
the end of the week, I feel like it takes about like 20 minutes to put it all together, and that's why I think it's super convenient. And it actually allows the lesson to flow quite in a quite organized way, because everything is together in the PowerPoint, and especially if you like put the audio files there, it saves you from like switching to different windows. You just have everything in one place, and I think it's like it makes life much easier. So not too long.
Absolutely. And then we have some questions, comments on streaming. Oh.
Okay, you stream it on your computer, and then your students see what's happening.
We were just discussing some technical details, so please disregard that.
Okay, so it's not okay, all right.
And then there is a question from Ben. Where are your Quizlet sets, Masha?
They're all on Quizlet, I guess, and there were some sets that I, at some point, I think, shared. So on Quizlet.
Can you give us your Quizlet name, please?
Yes, it's and Masha, like together in one word. I can type it up in the chat.
Yes, please. Thank you. Is it okay if we borrow them?
Yeah, sure.
We can share ours. I just don't remember what my Quizlet name is. Jesus, I'll find out in a moment.
Oh wow. I just put together. I'm not sure. Some of them are probably not even mine, but there is a really nice set of like starters, vocabulary, and then movers and flyers. So I think, surely they're there.
Okay, great.
I just wanted to say about the PowerPoint presentations for young. I do this. I do PowerPoint presentations as well. There are advantages. Like it's like you have it forever. Even when it comes to teaching an offline lesson, like in real class, you can still use this PowerPoint presentation like next academic year with another group of kids. Yeah, so in this case, it's there, it's forever. And obviously Masha is using, the framework like hello circle, favorite song and goodbye. And basically you keep the frame and you just need to change the things inside this presentation.
This is true, and clearly for like certain stages I would just like copy slides from maybe another presentation. So I think really saves time.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Masha.
Thank you.
No more questions here. No. Okay. Thank you very much.
Great.
Okay. Super. My name is Anka. I am a teacher. I am a trainer also. I'm doing things. I work for BKCIH Moscow. And today, oh, sorry, I have to, this is what happens during every lesson. I'm traveling with my desk because the sun is getting in the way. Right. In this session today, this is the topic is going to be a nice connection to what Masha has just told us, stretching this into a little bit. And I was also thinking about the things that we can easily move into the online world. And some of them are pretty easy. Some of them are very, very simple, like course books and workbooks. Luckily, the whole pandemic happened in March, yes, when we were, why do we, oh, this is what happens. All right. So the whole pandemic happened in March. So basically the kids have course books and workbooks. This would be different if we had started the year online, but luckily for now they have it. So this is a great advantage. The songs we can still use as we would anyway, videos as well. It's even much easier, depending of course on the classroom or on the technology in your classroom, etc., etc. But now it's easier. Flashcards are a bit of a bummer, but there are a lot of online opportunities, so you can still use, although I have my own, so this is such a, you know, like the safety blanket, using the normal things still in the online world. Pair work, yes, this is a challenge, but as I said, as of Thursday, I am happy because we managed to do some proper pair work, and it's taken only 3 weeks, so hey ho. Craft, I still haven't done it yet, but I know that people have. Vita has. Maria told us during the previous webinar how she managed to do some craft in class with even very young learners. So I'm going to definitely try. And then there were the stirrers that Masha has already mentioned, and they are definitely one of those issues and one of those things that are not so easily transferred, but still not impossible. At one point, I was even considering whether we still need stirrers in an online classroom, because maybe not, because the parents are there in a way in the classroom or close enough, right? And usually in the afternoon, they are not busy with their own office work, or so they can, for the students, it might be an advantage to, well, for us, it can be an advantage because students might feel more motivated to behave because mom might not approve of things in the other room. But also parents can help us. This is something that Svetlana mentioned, and this is actually a great advantage for us. And I asked my parents, I had a session with parents to show them how you switch into the breakout rooms before we actually did it with kids as well. So hopefully if the room all of a sudden starts collapsing, I guess the parents would intervene. So this is an advantage for us. But the worst case scenario, and this is something that Ben has mentioned, we can just switch them off temporarily. Although my kids react, might do mine. There is this like, oh, Anka, we are on mute. And it's like, all right, good. So it doesn't always work that well. But I still think that we still do need stirrers because kids are still 7 or 8. They still have a short attention span. We are still in the classroom, and it's also good to do something else than just staring at the computer screen for 45 minutes or 60 minutes or how many minutes. So that's why we are using them. And I would like to share with you 4 activities that we do that, well, have been doing recently as well. And hopefully you will find something useful for your classes as well here. Okay, so the first thing is that songs, right? Songs are great anyway because they help us create the community, and they are our tradition, and they change the pace of the lesson. But since we went online, I have been looking for other things in songs, because normally when we do a song or when we include a song in the lesson, that is for our tricky teacher ways and reasons. We want the song, I mean, I do. We want the song because there is the language, there is the vocabulary, there is the structure. I keep repeating that a song is discourse just with some music. So after we take the music away, then hi, they are speaking a lot. And then we add gestures to it to make sure that they understand, that they are involved, that the vocabulary in the language is hooked, and it's easy to retrieve it. But since we went online, I started looking for things that work differently. Songs that include gestures. that are also a song. And if you think about it, those two examples that I'm going to share with you in a moment, if you take away the music, they are just like just words in English. There is no structure, there is no sentence, and really they don't have any, well, they don't have much value apart from the fact that they let the kids move around. So my trick number one is basically not just any song, but a special song that will give us a chance to move around. And the first two, the two hits are here. Rock, scissors, paper. Yes. Well, sorry. Rock, scissors, paper. Rock, scissors, paper. So this is what we do with the younger ones. Thank you, Vita, for following. And the other one is the jellyfish song, which is even weirder, really, if you think about it. I don't know if you've tried. I'm doing the jellyfish song by the window, and the blinds are up, so the whole neighborhood can see how I put my wrists together, my elbows together, my knees together, and I'm jellyfish. But the kids like it, and they move a little bit, and they will remember jellyfish. Also, very, very useful word, and it gives us an opportunity to move. But I was digging yesterday and the day before yesterday, and I let YouTube take me on a trip. And this is how I found this song. Any idea what these stand for? You can put your suggestions in the chat. What could these be? Where's my chat? There we go. Okay, crazy. Okay, tongue out, good. That's a good one. Stick your tongue out. Yes, I was Googling. Oh, tongue twisters. That's love. Oh, that's nice, Anna. Tongue twisters. Good. I have an icon for tongue twisters right now. No, actually, this is what I decided to use to demonstrate sillies, crazies, and jitters. So all those things that kids want to do or have inside them, which we don't want always, especially not when they want to focus. And I wonder, what do you think we can do with sillies? What can a person do with sillies? Any ideas? Okay, I'm going to tell you. Sillies, you shake out. So you shake out your sillies. Crazies, you clap out. Jitters, I think you jump out, which is cool. And there are other ones. The song is quite long, and in the same song we have also, we have woggles, which you wave. We have jiggles, which you jog, stretches, and you have yawnies as well. And this is the new hit that we are going to be singing beginning tomorrow. And I would like to share with you a little bit of this charm. Come on, demonstracja. Come on. There we go. There we go. Enjoy a few lines of this. Let's go.
Your sillies out from the award-winning CD, Kids Country Song and Dance by The Learning Station.
And so it goes on. Okay. So hopefully after a round like that, they will be tired enough. Whoopsie. To actually focus on something else. We're going to start singing. I think probably because my kids all know the word crazy for some mysterious reason. We are going to start with clapping the crazies out, and then we're going to add all the other verbs, which will help me keep them occupied and wondering what's next for at least 7 lessons. If we keep adding one more line to everything that we do. So this is one thing, songs. The other thing that was probably inspired by the Ministry of Silly Walks, or partially inspired by the Ministry of Silly Walks from Monty Python, are the silly gestures. This is another game that we play with kids. I will ask Vita and Svetlana to join me, imagining that we have a very small group. So basically you have to think of a silly thing to do, a silly gesture, and everybody else in the room has to do the same after you. So you are the conductor and everybody keeps moving. So I'm going to do as I did in the rehearsal. So this is my silly gesture. Vita and Svetlana, please join me. Yes. Anka, but what are you doing? Or what are these? These are stars blinking. This is my students, Irina's idea. Okay, Vita, your turn. Let's look at Vita, everybody. Vita, what's your silly gesture? Okay. Okay. And Vita, what's this?
It's a bumblebee.
Oh, super. Svetlana, what's your silly gesture? Let's look at Svetlana. And what's this, Svetlana?
An earthworm.
Oh, an earthworm. And I thought my kids didn't, I mean, you know, they were doing it, but I didn't think they got attached to it, but they did, because on Thursday we had a lesson, we were doing present continuous, so there was a lot of movement anyway, we were miming, and I thought like, never mind, silly gestures next time. And they did remind me, and I thought, got you, we are there already. So this is here to stay, basically. A variation of this activity, whoopsie. So everybody has to think of a gesture, show it to everyone. Everyone mirrors the gesture. And in the beginning, we just stopped at that. But I thought that, you know, it's a waste not to get the language out of that. So they have to describe what they are doing as well. And then the next activity, this was inspired by the things that you can see here, but 2 websites that I found when I was preparing some program for some drama for the summer, something like this. 2 great websites. There are a lot of activities which we can kind of steal into our lessons. Not all of them will be doable online because they focus on drama, and with some of them you actually hug other people and roll over, etc., etc. But there are many nice activities. So if you're looking for some inspiration, you can start here. Kids activities, drama games, and then BBB Press. I don't remember, Beat by Beat, I think. This is a website for teachers, for drama teachers as well, to children and to teenagers. So many nice activities. And this is something, and again, I'm going to torture Vita and Svetlana, so you can do it with me. The first one is, imagine that you are looking at a spider. Let's look at spider. You are looking at a spider. Okay, great. Imagine that you're looking at a dragon. Oh, I would be in love probably already straight away. Imagine that you're looking at a puppy. And things like that. And this is just the beginning. Of course, this is a drama game. It's nothing to do with language, or not too much to do with language, but they also go into other senses. So I would start with looking, because we know this verb very well. Then listening can come to it, and touching and tasting and smelling as well. And of course, eventually when the kids get used to it, they are not only working with their bodies, but they are also supposed to suggest ideas. So it can be quite entertaining, right? And the game is called, yes, Imagine. Okay, moving on. Okay, this is the thing that I've been doing only so far with my one-to-one student. Please get up. You can be sitting. Please pretend that you are doing what I'm doing, so that I don't feel stupid doing this thing all by myself. Okay. We are going to walk around the house, people. Okay, so let's just keep on walking. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Stop. This is the door. Let's open the door, everybody. Please help me. We are in the dining room. Okay, Anka, what are you doing in the dining room? I'm eating. Super. Vita, what are you doing in the dining room?
I'm reading.
Okay, Vita, how are you reading? Can you share? Okay. Yes, okay. Svetlana, what are you doing in the dining room?
My kids usually say that they don't have a dining room.
I know. Every time. No, but it's so true. It's actually so true.
They say like, no dining room, no.
Okay. Let's walk on. Okay. I'm here. Please, let's open the door. Okay, everybody, let's go. Please help me. We are in the living room. Okay, Anka, what are you doing in the living room? I am jumping on the bed, actually, or on the sofa. Vita, what are you doing in the living room?
I'm doing fitness with Pop Sugar Fitness.
Svetlana, what are you doing in the dining room?
In the dining room. I don't have a dining room.
Sorry. Please, sorry. Of course, in the living room. We're in the living room.
I watch TV.
Okay, I'm okay. And what is, look, Angelina is here as well. What is Angelina doing in the living room? Is she sleeping?
No.
What is she doing? Dex, what is Angelina doing in the living room?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Angelina, what are you doing? I'm dancing, of course. Okay. Thank you for participating in the madness. Basically, we kind of told the story. This is what I started to do only with my one-to-one. She's 5, and we started like this because we were covering the house vocabulary. But because last time on Thursday it turned out into a whole story. So at this time we are in rooms, we are doing things. Then we added other people. Mommy appeared in the bathroom, and Daddy appeared in the kitchen, etc., etc. So all the other people had to do something, and we were miming for them. Then obviously pets are going to come into the picture, and then they will feel somehow, they will be doing things. And then because next lesson is about Where's My Bear, a great story from the old course book by Oxford, I think, I Spy. Then in the end, this girl finds a bear, not a teddy bear, in the garden. So there will be a surprise in the end. I realized that we are actually telling a story together, moving a lot. You can do most of those things sitting, actually, but there is still some movement and there is a little bit of change. And it's not limited to only this particular topic of the house, because with food you can be eating different things and you can be happy or unhappy about this. Other people can be eating things as well. In the city, you are moving and you're going to other places. You're going to the park, you're listening to the birds. You're sailing a boat to school, for example, or you're playing basketball with your cat. So there are other options possible. And then this is the direction that we are going to be taking. Precautions, I would say, 2 things probably. Masha mentioned already one of them. Make sure that there is enough room. Apart from that, I would say maybe some limitations should be imposed. Like with my Superminds 2 kids, 7 and 8, I had to introduce the rule of we are doing it and we are sitting, because someone was suggesting a silly gesture. They decided that it's a good idea to suggest standing on your head, which it isn't, obviously. So now we are doing it sitting. And another thing, a little thing as well, but maybe if you're planning to include an activity like this, make sure that you are wearing your jeans, not your PJs, because like it's just, unless your PJs look like something that we can wear outside as well. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to stop the presentation. Okay, I don't know if there are questions. Here we go. Tongue out. Okay. Drama resources. Yes, this might be another one. Yes. Okay.
I'm using my tablet, so you're not going to see me in the video when
Okay.
All right, so I'm CheeWay and I'm self-employed at the moment. I do different things, so I monitor my own teaching progress, and I do everything. Okay, so the topic is speaking activities, but it's more like how to make students speak in the class. And at the moment, I have mostly one-to-ones and a group of adults, but they're just 2 people. But anyways, it's quite good anyways. I get like experience and so far some ideas in mind on what to do and what not to do in the class. So in my kids class, hold on. Share screen. And you can all see my secrets over here. Here. So for my kids, I do stories sometimes. So recently I've done The Hungry Caterpillar, and it's quite cool doing stories. When I'm telling them the stories, I involve them. So it's not just me telling. I elicit from them the colors, for example. What's the color of this caterpillar? Is it long or short? And that way they tell me the answer. Oh, it's long, it's green, yellow, red, etc. And then I go on and I elicit from them, and when I'm pre-teaching them vocabulary, I have already the pictures, and I and I tried to ask them, where's the moon? Do you know where's the moon? Just to see if they know where it is, if they know what is the moon. And I elicit from them the egg, and they tell me if it's a small egg or a big egg. And then I move on to the next slides. And over here, they can either tell me if they know what is the sun. And when I move on to here, I tell them that the caterpillar is hungry, and they have to tell me if they are hungry or not. But of course, I ask them questions like, oh, are you hungry? Are you happy? What about this caterpillar? Is he hungry now, or is he sad? Etc. And to make it more interactive, so they don't get bored in the middle, because sometimes they get bored, I get them to trace the hungry caterpillar. So they trace around and they have fun with it for a bit, and then we move on. So with the story, it's basically asking them questions, getting them to tell me the answers. Oh, wait, oops, where did I go? With the with my 3-year-olds, no wait, he's 5. So with my 5-year-old, I use a simple presentation, but I begin the lesson with finger puppets. I bought some finger puppets with me. Oh wait, you cannot see me, right. So with the finger puppets, I basically put in front of the camera. Ah, you can't see me, sorry. Wait. So I have the finger puppets ready, and I pop it in the screen, and then I hide it, and I pop it up and then hide it again, just to get them interested. And then I get the finger puppets to do a little role play. Oh, hi, how are you? How are you? I'm fine, I'm fine. How are you? I'm hungry, I'm happy, I'm sad. And then I go up to the camera and I ask the student, how are you? How are you? I'm happy. And you? I'm happy. How are you? For example, how are you, Pietia? How are you doing? And Pietia goes like, I'm happy. Woo-hoo. And then I go to the giraffe and I say, Pietia, say hello to the giraffe. And Pietia says, hello, giraffe. And the giraffe, hello, Pietia. So he's doing like a little short little task repetition in between. And then after that, I move on to Dex. Well, Dexish, because he loves dinosaurs and everything. And practicing colors, I asked him questions like, oh, what is the color of the dinosaur? And the dinosaur, and he says, oh, it's green, red, orange, etc. I'm quite new at online teaching, and this is only my first week teaching with kids. And I try to keep everything simple, because I find that using a lot of gadgets it's quite challenging for my devices, because my devices, they're not really good. I have a really slow laptop, and my tablet runs out of battery really fast. So the only materials I use is puppets, Google Docs, and I use PowerPoint presentation. Sometimes I use Quizlets. So with the adults, when I do speaking activities with them, I usually make the questions in Google Docs. So when they are talking to each other, after that, they can type it up, the answers, and it's easier to monitor also. Actually, that's about it. I can share. Oh, wait. There are questions. Where are the questions? Oh, chat's over here. Sorry. Where is the chat? Oh, there you are. Where did I get these nice puppets? I got these puppets in Walmart here in Canada, but you can get them anywhere. Well, not now, quarantine. I think you can get them in fixed price. I think maybe in fixed price they have them. Yeah. All right, I'm done here.
Please. So Tatiana, over to you. Please tell us something about yourself, and we are looking forward to the talk.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Is everything
Yes.
fine with the sound? Great. I'm very happy to see all of you. Thank you for sharing such great ideas. I'm Tatiana Fanshtein. I'm a freelance teacher, trainer, and teacher of very young learners. What I'm doing now is teaching very young learners from 3 to 6 in groups. And my groups differ from 4 to 8 people, so it's quite a challenge. And now I'm going to share with you some cream of the crops of my experience. I hope it can be useful for you. So just a second, let me share my presentation. So the thing is that I'm going to share 5 ideas and 5 activities my students adore playing and doing online. And the first idea I would like to mention is, has already been mentioned for sure today. And the thing is that we have to talk to our kids first of all. And what I do with my kids is check if they are sure where the camera is. So like everyone, let's have a look where your camera is, and let's touch the camera, let's wave your hands, and let's say hello. And just to check that they are sure what's going to happen next. Then I want to be confident and I want to know that they know where the mouse is and how to click it, because it's a crucial skill for me in my lesson during the class. And besides, they have to know what's going to happen. They feel quite confident in my classroom, but while staying at home with their brothers and sisters shouting and dogs jumping around them, it might be quite a challenge to focus on a lesson, definitely. That's why I want to share what is going to happen in my classroom. And what I usually work with is a teaching diary, which is a very helpful practice after every single lesson, which I do for my students and for myself as well. This is the way it looks like. So I try to write my impressions down after every single class about gadgets. So how good they were at pressing buttons, clicking the mouse, and so on and so forth. What about as for classroom management, if there was a challenge or not, any problems with language, any problems with parents, and the most important thing, what I'm gonna do with it next. The next idea, which I would like to share, is visuals, definitely, because we usually use a lot of visuals in my classroom, and we definitely have a lot of offline toys, which you've already seen from our colleagues. And besides, we have some particular toys for online. For example, I've got a SOS assistant. So if something goes wrong, this guy comes and talks to the kids. Besides, we definitely use a lot of video, which Anka has already spoken about. And what can be done with pictures, I'd like to show you in my Miro account. I mostly use Miro with my students, with my very young learners. I hope you can see my screen. And the last activity I did with my students in Miro was the following. Was it just a very easy memory game? The thing is that they have to memorize. So I first show them the picture and I give them, I set a timer and I count to 10. Then I close the picture with a sticker and I ask them to name what there was. In order to help them, I can use some objects like giving them a picture of a sofa, asking them, was there a sofa? And they try to make their sentence like, there was a sofa, there wasn't a sofa in the picture. A laptop, what about a laptop? And they say, there was a laptop, there wasn't a laptop in the picture. And then I start opening the picture, which is really exciting for them, because I usually add some kind of magic words, 1, 2, 3, let's see. And here we go. This is the way we work with visuals in Miro, which is a very convenient tool for me. The next thing I'd like to talk about is sound system. I used to have sound system in my classroom, but besides, I had to add some particular sounds for letting them sit down and focus on me. For example, I've got such a bird with the sound, which means they have to come back to me. So a particular sound for sitting down, a particular sound to finish the activity. So if they are very focused on doing something, I have to grab their attention back, and so I need a particular sound. Then I ask them, I use a sound to stand up and to start and finish a lesson. And that's very easy, that's a bell. So we usually start our lesson with a bell and we finish our lesson with a bell. Because in my classroom, we use we use English only in the classroom, and in offline lessons, I first let them speak Russian outside the classroom, but they are not allowed to speak Russian in the classroom. That's why it's very important for me to set the boundaries, to say that, like, first to say them hello in Russian, start speaking in Russian, explain what's going to happen in Russian, and then ring the bell and start the lesson. So sound system matters for me. Besides, we have quite a few attention getters while working with very young learners. I'm pretty sure you know a lot of them, like 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, guys, I need your eyes, so whatever you like, hocus pocus. And I've made up some particular online rhymes which help me while I work with very young learners. And what is really important, as Anka has already mentioned, is gestures. For example, the first rhyme looks like this: boom, boom, I'm in my room. The next is, I'm fine, I'm here online. The next is, stop, stop, I've got my laptop. So that's a kind of attention getter you can do online, but don't forget to focus on gestures. The next part of my lesson, the next part of my talk and tip is to have a particular routine for online classes. We usually start our classes with saying hello to each other, asking questions, and so on and so forth. So we might do the same online. We definitely do sing hello songs, but what might be done here is letting them work in pairs. It's a great challenge, I know. And while working in offline classroom, I let my students stand in different corners of the classroom, and by click of the fingers, they start asking each other questions like, how old are you? What do you like doing? And this is our typical warm-up. To make it in Zoom was a great, great challenge, and it is still a challenge, but it is quite possible. We've started the way, and we are there moving to better and better activity. The next thing, to finish a routine, to finish a lesson, usually we have hugging time. So we, in our offline classes, we hug each other, and we have a huge group of people, students, hugging and asking, what are you doing? I'm hugging my teacher, I'm hugging Tatiana, I'm hugging Misha, Vasa, and so on, which is very easily transformed to online classes, like hugging yourself. And discussing plans. So usually I finish my classes with small talk, kind of small talk, asking, what are you going to do? I'm going to eat. And what are you going to do? I'm going to drink. And one thing I want to show you is the video from my class. It's very short, but I hope you will enjoy it. This is the way I finish my classes. Everyone stand up. What are you going to do? I'm going to say goodbye, because now it's time to say goodbye. It's hugging time. Bye. Hug yourself, please. and tell me what you're doing. What are you doing? I'm hugging myself. I'm hugging myself. Anya, Artyom, Dashenka, what are you doing? Hugging myself. Perfect. Now, I have a question for you. What are you going to do? As for me, I'm going to eat or to drink?
I'm going to eat.
To eat. Okay. Ksyusha?
To play.
To play. Anya, what are you going to do?
I watch a cartoon.
Okay. I'm going to
So that was a piece of my lesson, and now let's come back to the presentation. Okay, so now let's go to activities. I'm going to show you 5 activities my students adore. And the first activity is the wheel, magic wheel. And it is taken from the site willdecide.com, which is very, very easy and well known, I believe. Let me show you what happens. What happens is that we've got the wheel and we just spin it. And then we've got the color. So I ask my students, what color is it? What color is number 4? It's green. 1, 2, 3, show me something green. So they run around the room, they grab something and come back. By my signal, yeah, it helps me. So they sit down and they brought something green. The idea of the activity, it's a speaking activity. They have to say what they've got and what they brought. So they might say, I brought, or they might say, I've got. It depends on what your students are able to say. But the idea is that it combines moving, interaction, and speaking activities. So everyone is really eager to say, look, I've got this green toy, or I've got this green lid, whatever. So, and it's a great chance to learn some new vocabulary, which is really helpful and useful, I believe. The next activity is definitely action activity. We all suffer from our children, suffer from lack of actions in online classes. And I love the activity You Are the Teacher, when everyone stands up and I choose, again, with the help of my wheel. I've got a wheel with my students' names. So for example, this is Anya, and she's gonna be the teacher. She will tell us what to do. For example, everybody run, run, run. So everybody starts running and Anya has to ask, what are you doing, guys? I'm running, I'm jumping. So that's it. That's the easiest thing. And the second option is the one more difficult one, is a traffic light. So it is when a person, the leader of the game, gives the activity, the action. For example, jump. Everybody starts jumping and says it's green, so you can jump. When it's red, you have to stop. You have to stop, and you have to freeze, and you have to stop moving. And there is a very famous song, I'm pretty sure you know it, Hokey Pokey Shake. And there is, I've transformed it into a game, Hokey Pokey Attention Game, which means I say like, shake your hands, and I shake my hands. Then I say, shake your legs, and I continue shaking my hands. So they have to focus on what I'm saying, not to what I'm showing. And the idea of my online classes is like, do it one after another one. So kind of passive game activity, then active one. The next thing to be done here is a coloring activity. I've already heard a lot of ideas about crafts and drawing, but the very easiest thing that might be done is a coloring activity. I might send my parents of my students, a picture, black and white picture, and they don't even have to print it out, because they might just draw a face of a boy or a girl. So some parents who are not ready to print out the materials, they just prepare for a minute for this class, drawing a picture of a face, if we're going to talk about face. So that's pretty easy, and a lot of parents agree to do it. What we did last time was a common drawing activity, like draw a common room. For example, let's ask, what is there in your room, Masha? And Masha says, there is a sofa in my room. So everybody has a picture, a paper, and everybody draws a sofa. So one object from each particular student. So we will have kind of common room. Then we can take a picture and we can do some homework connected with it. So we will have a room with one particular object from every student. And that was really nice.
Besides, we can color the pictures, is what we usually do in my offline classroom when I ask, what color are your boys' eyes? And they say, my boys' eyes are blue. They take a blue pencil and they comment what they're doing. What are you doing? And I'm coloring my boys' eyes blue, for example. And that's what we do online. The next thing is decorating the fridge activity. Now I'll show you the site I like. The thing is that when my students started working online, they couldn't even click the mouse. They were not able to do it, and that was a big challenge for them. And that's the activity on the site abcy.com, which might be done easily. So, for example, we choose shapes. We can choose a shape, then we press it. It says what the shape it is. Yeah, can you hear it? I hope. So, and then
heart.
We decorate the fridge. So
square.
Whatever. So you can make some faces, some animals, so whatever you like. So the thing is that I badly needed a skill of clicking the mouse and dragging the object with the mouse, which is a great challenge for 3 or 4 years old child. So that's why we practice this activity a lot. And the last activity I'd like to mention is the favorite of my students, is prizes. The thing is that you've already said that kids want prizes, and that's what my students usually get in offline classroom. They get stamps, so they usually ask for a stamp. So can I have an excellent stamp? Yes, you can. Here you are. And that's it. What can we do in an online classroom? My option is the following thing. We use Miro board, and it's quite easy to be used. We take pictures, photos of my students, and then we give the prizes down. So this is our motivation board, classroom board, and after every single lesson, at the end of the lesson, they are able to choose the prize. For example, the first here is Ksusha. I ask Ksusha, what prize would you like? She says, I'd like a horsey, please. Then I let her use the mouse. So in Zoom, it's quite possible, you know. She grabs the horsey and she moves it to her face, somewhere near her. So they were very, very enthusiastic about this task and very happy to be able to drag the object after practicing with the fridge. Actually, that's all I wanted to tell you. If you have any questions, I will be really happy to answer them. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'm very happy to answer all of your questions. And let's keep in touch.
Tatiana, thank you much. Thank you so much for coming here, and thank you so much for your ideas. Well, the Miro board is seriously, it's an ingenious tool, and the way you use it, the way you create this reward system for your kids is something I'm going to borrow tomorrow. Thank you so much for that.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to give you our teacher, Irina. Irina, are you there? Okay, yes, over to you. Everyone. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to share my ideas with you. I'm Irina. I'm an English teacher, and I've been working for BKC for 2 years now. So I'm teaching actually all age groups and all levels, but today I'm going to talk about some juniors and teens activities. This is actually adaptation of some games I use in a real classroom, and now I just found the ways to use them online. So I'm going to share my presentation with you in a second. Sorry. Yes. Okay, so this is what I'm going to talk about today. So I will present some games and activities and then say who I used it with, for example, the age and level, and then how to play them online, and then rules interaction patterns, and then when to play it in the lesson. I mean, for example, as a warmer, or what for, like a grammar revision or vocabulary revision, and then possible adaptations of these activities. And then I'll be glad to answer your questions. So let's move to number 1. Okay, so this is irregular verbs snap. I used it in my classroom with my Prepare 1 juniors, and so basically this is the grid which I prepared in advance, and I put some verbs in infinitive and past form here, and I hide them under these boxes. So this is how we play. Students take turns to say, for example, 1A or 2C, and then I open these boxes, 1A and 2C, and students should read these verbs out, and if they match, I say snap, and I leave them open. If they don't match, I close them, and they should remember where they are hidden. So if a student guesses, he can continue, and he can say, he can open 2 more boxes. And after we have finished the game, usually we drill all the verbs, we drill all the forms together. So usually I use it as a warmer, as a grammar revision. And it, of course, can be adapted for younger learners. For example, you can use a picture and a word for literacy, or you can use it for different levels and grammar. For example, comparative forms or superlative forms of adjectives, or, for example, vocabulary, I would say opposites, or countries and nationalities, and other vocabulary like this. If you are not lazy, you can actually create a word plus definition, but I think you can just use it with vocabulary or some collocations. Okay, so let's move to number 2. So for this game, I created a Google Presentations document, and I called it Anagrams Board Rush. Of course, we don't have a real whiteboard, but this is how I played it in the real classroom, and now I adapted it online. So this is how it looks like. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'll just move this. Yes. Okay, so I share the link with students, and I ask them not to do anything here, not to touch it, not to drag this, because I don't want them to see the words. So first I split them into teams, and I ask them to choose one writer in one team. So they actually can work together, and I put them in breakout rooms. Then I share the link and they open it. So when they are ready, I just put this away, and they start solving these puzzles, like they start guessing what are the words. Usually this is the revision of vocabulary we had at the previous lesson. And for example, this one is plates. I just mixed the order of letters, and they can type here because it's Google presentation, and they open their own link. So I can see who is the winner because we share the same link, and I see all the changes here, and we have 2 teams.
Irina, I'm sorry, we can't see your anagram, so perhaps you're sharing the PowerPoint. Can you share the anagrams with us?
Oh yes, sure.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for that. Yeah, give me a second. Yes, here it is. Okay, so this is how it looks at the beginning, and then I grab this thing, and here we have anagram. So look, for example, this one is plates, and students can type here because they have this option. And by the way, when you are creating this type of document, don't forget to change the settings. You should let them edit. So I have it in Russian here, but you should let them edit the document, and then you just share the link. It is here. You say, get the shareable link. And in this case, they can write in the presentation, in the Google presentations. So this is my activity number 2. And the way to adapt it, for example, you can use this on any topics, like for vocabulary on any topics. And you can use it with juniors, teens, and adults, for example, I would say. Yes, and the next one, this is one of my favorites. I call it banana sentences. It is not my idea originally, but I heard it from some of my colleagues, and then I started to use it. This particular slide I used with my teenagers, Gateway B1 Plus. So this is a copy from the course book. And originally the task was write 2 sentences. One is a defining relative clause and the other one is non-defining relative clause. But I wanted to make it more fun, and this is why I created this task. So basically it's a guessing game, and you think.
Can you share the screen with us again, please?
Oops, sorry. I'm not good at it here. Okay. Thank you, Vita. So look, this is originally the task taken from the course book, and this is how I adapted it. So this is a kind of a guessing game. Students should think of one word and write a banana sentence, but they don't write the word itself, they write banana instead. So after they produce these sentences, they speak together with their partners in pairs. Usually I put them in breakout rooms, and they guess what goes for banana. For example, in my example, I have banana is the sport which you do in summer. So they start guessing, is it a badminton? Is it tennis? I say, yes, of course it is, for example. So, and this with non-defining relative clause is banana, which is my favorite city, is famous for its beautiful architecture. Again, they can guess which city I mean by banana. So usually I give them at about 5 minutes to come up with their banana sentences. I give them a limit of sentences. Usually I say 3 to 5. Fast finishers can produce more, of course. And then I put them in breakout rooms. They talk together and guess. This is how it works. So I use it as a warmer for grammar and vocabulary. Yeah, by the way, I used it for my Prepare 2 class, and this is how it could be adapted for grammar. So in this case, banana can be need or want, because this was the target language of our lesson. So I created my examples of banana sentences. I banana a new pair of glasses because I lost the old one. So obviously I need a new pair of glasses. And I banana a new phone because I don't like my phone. So in this case, banana goes for want. And then again, I ask students to produce their own sentences. This actually works very well for semi-controlled or even freer practice if they come up with their own sentences. For example, if you introduce a set of vocabulary, you can use this as a practice activity. Yeah, and of course you can use it with juniors and teens and adults, actually. They like it as well. And I would say pre-intermediate level and above will be okay. Okay, good. And the last one, the last slide is called Hot Potato or a Bomb Game Online is Possible. Well, actually, I tried to play Hot Potato game with my teens again, B1 plus Gateway. So, of course, usually you play it with a ball in the classroom. You give the topic to the students and they should say one word on a topic and pass the ball to another student. And then I set a timer for 1 minute, and when the time is up, the bomb explodes. But here, this is how I played it without a ball online. First of all, I set the order in which students should say the words. I texted it in the chat box. For example, Dasha, Masha, Vita, Seryoja, okay? And then we set the rules. For example, if a person has said the word and I say bang, the time is up, we assume that this person actually passed the ball to the next person, because otherwise it wouldn't be fair and we cannot see if he actually passed the ball or not. So we kind of discussed it before we started the game, just to be fair. And then also, I don't like eliminations because it can be discouraging. That's why when the person loses, I just write the sad face in the chat box for him and he continues playing. So in this case, he can continue playing even if he didn't say a word on the topic. So, and the winner is the person who didn't get any sad faces. Even if a person gets 3 sad faces, he's not the loser, because I think it's not that motivating if you are doing that. So again, I'm using this for vocabulary revision, and I like these activities, especially these two, because they don't require preparation time and they are fun. They are suitable for almost all levels and all ages, so I like them a lot, and my students enjoy games. Usually we play probably 2 or 3 games a lesson, and I just wanted to include these games to my online lessons as well. So thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer now. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, Irina, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful ideas with us. It's really, it's wonderful how teachers come up with all these things to share and to bring into their online classes and make lessons interesting and engaging. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vita.
I was thinking of making it more kinesthetic with hot potato. Why not asking your teenage student to have like these paper balls, and when the turn comes to the person, basically in the screen, he can basically like keep this as a hot potato in his hand. So it's already like kinesthetic. And
yeah, could be done like this. Thank you, Svetlana.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Okay, if we don't have any more questions for Irina, I'm very happy to present a very special guest today and a friend, Lucia. Can you please introduce yourself? And thank you so much for joining us.
You're always too kind. So yeah, I'm Lucia. I'm from Italy. Right now I'm back to my home country. I'm a primary school teacher. I used to work for BKC. I was Vika's and Anka's colleague for a number of years. And I left a piece of heart over there, so it's nice to taste the water from time to time and go back to the origins. I'm here to show you one project that I carried out in school, in a state school, when technology wasn't mandatory, but it was some sort of engaging byproduct. And it is a Twitter project with, I'm going to share my video with you, and it's a short presentation. I will make it short. There we are. And it uses Twitter to exercise writing and to engage students within and outside the classroom. So the original goal was to give you some ideas about homework, but actually it works well in both settings. And I don't know how familiar you are with this tool. It is a social network that is pretty easy to use. There are many accounts nowadays. It's very popular due to Trump's abuse of it. It is like many others. It has different layers of use. So you can be a passive or an active user. You can follow people without posting anything, or you can just be proactive and use it for communication yourself. Of course, the first step I had to consider, and I shared with the families, was security, cybersecurity. And the good thing about that is that I linked this common account to a personal email address. So I was in charge of everything that was done on the account, and I could monitor the interactions and in case block or redirect some behavior. Also, the competencies are quite, there is a wide spectrum of competencies included. They had only one rule, and everything must be done in English. So they could read, they could interact, they could follow whoever they wanted, as long as it was an English profile, even if it was, for example, an Italian football player. What I want to stress out, and for me it was crucial, being a primary school teacher, it is that I wasn't doing that on my own. So of course I was the one promoting the project, but I had to reach out to the families and to have them involved. And that played quite a role in the afterwards. The project is dated in 2016, but somehow it's still going on. So these are the characteristics that made me choose these social networks rather than, for example, Facebook or Instagram. Now the limit of characters is a bit longer, is 280 if I remember correctly, but still it is very, very short. And it means that when you ask somebody to write, they know that it's going to be a sentence with 10, 15 words maximum. It is very friendly for students, so they don't have to interact with the complicated platforms. It is very immediate, and it offers that kind of flexibility in logging in and out and having different people interacting with the same account that I was looking for. This is our baby. Children had to choose the name, so it was a classroom, a class group of 27 10-year-old students. At the time they were almost 11, and they were involved from the very beginning by choosing the profile picture, by choosing the followers, by choosing the, I don't know, the description of the group and so forth. So at the beginning, of course, I was leading them into the tool because nobody was familiar with that. And the first part of our use of Twitter was more passive. So they had to choose whom to follow. But by the time passing by, we started using Twitter as an extension of our classes. So, for example, if the topic was about hobbies and the free time activities, they had this assignment to write a short sentence about their hobbies and what they like doing. And that means that they were free to choose the content. They had some structures that we practice in a more controlled setting. At the same time, the accuracy was checked afterwards. So there was a first step where they were free to write, and then there was correction, and they could change it, edit it, or just leave it as it was. It was their choice, never forced about that. These are some examples of their creative writing. So from simple ones, my name is Alberto, I love English and history, I also like whatever, to my name, my favorite subject, my films. So this was the kind of topics that we were covering at the time. This one was a unit about future professions, so the job. As you can see, my favorite job is programmer. I find it cute, and I wasn't so picky. It is a good memory for all of us. So the second stage, this is the more outward side of it. This is where the family was really important. They played a crucial role. They were really engaged. They helped a lot by monitoring and by adding some of their own creativity. So the content, the tool was meaningful for them. So for children, it was the first step into the World Wide Web. They were the owner. We were just mediating this, but really my presence and the family's presence was just as a supporter. And we had a rule. I don't know how strict a rule in other countries, but in Italy, we are not allowed to use a student's picture. So, for example, some presentations that I saw before couldn't have been allowed in my country. You can never use pictures of your students. For this, we decided that as nice as it could be to have their faces shown, they had to cover it somehow or to use different angles. That's the result. So this was a family sharing their meal. This is frittata. They had some ingredients, so we were discussing food, of course. Being Italy, it's no surprise. And also, we had a number of our students who were all members of the same rugby team, and this was taken after a training session, and they found this bizarre way to hide their face, and they put it as a riddle. So, okay, these are the students who played rugby today. Guess who? And that was good for the others. They know each other very well. It was like an inner joke for us. Also, it was very interesting for us as an introduction to what are the cyber risks. So it was the topic of, let's say, explicit discussions in class. And it helped parents to not be alone in this and to take it, to share these risks together, school and family. So we discussed about the power of pictures, the importance of protect personal data, and of course some principles of etiquette. So how to respect others, how to be polite and avoid certain characters that are offensive. So starting from this passive into moving from this passive into active use of the tool, we started using this to share what we were doing at the moment. So, for example, this was our yearly trip. We went climbing. And of course, as you can see, you cannot see the details of the girl, but they know who they are. And it was nice to put themselves in it. They found this very challenging. So it was some sort of with pride that they share it online. And also, this is the future of it. So after the academic year was over, this was the next year, there was some campaign against the bullying, and one of the students shared with the rest of our class let's say, this banner, this screen, just to remember how important it is to tackle it. So it is a tool that moves through the time and creates a bond between the members. Oh yes, then we tried to, let's say, to combine, to blend some searching, but also some to exploit their talents. It was a very artistic class, so of course it depends on the group you're working with. And it was done in pair works and in alone. And I gave them a list of very simple quotes from very famous famous people. I can accept failure. Everyone fails something, but they can't accept not trying, for example. And they had to create an icon for it. It could have been something very, very simple like a basket, or it could be something much more articulated and detailed. So again, this is a tentative to combine language and their own life and their own experience. At 11, you start changing a lot, so it was the start point of many interesting discussions. And that's it. So it is engaging because it was personal, it was meaningful for them, stress-free. It was done during our IT classes, and they had the reward of having likes and shares and stuff. These are two of my princesses with their spring in their hair. And that's all. I think this is just final remarks, but nothing to add to it. That's what I wanted to share. I'm open to questions or anything. Ouch, don't kill my leg. Sorry, my cat. Where are we now? No, it's wrong. Yes. There it is.
Wow, I mean, what a project, Lucia. Seriously, amazing. And it sounds so simple, like have a group account. Well, it's not. And well, like, good job, kudos to you for involving the parents, for getting everybody's permission, for organizing it all. It's not easy.
It took some planning, and of course, I could have done that only because I was in that setting. In any other context, maybe it would have been impossible. But what I want to say is that these maybe they have some personal accounts that you can use for sharing these simple tasks, and you don't. It was challenging at the time, but nowadays with all this pandemic going on and all this familiarity that it's increasing with these networks, I think it is more actual now than it was there 4 years ago now.
Have you tried it with other groups as well, or just one?
I didn't try it myself. I know others who did something similar, not younger than 9. But it works well up to teenagers. Who are 14, 15, not much older, but they have other tools and they start using it for more personally, so it is not that meaningful as it is at the beginning.
We have a question from Ben Brooks. What you have done if some parents said no?
I had some complaining, or no, not complaining. It was like they had they were more cautious about it. And the agreement we reached was that the activity was done anyway, because it was part of our school activity. And for those parents who prefer not to participate, let's say the final product of their children was not made public. It lasted a couple of weeks and then they all got involved. But it is group pressure, you know, everybody else is using it, it is safe, why should I be out?
Yes, social shaming in a positive way, so to say.
Yes, but you respect parents' choice and you can overcome it.
We have a question from Maria Strykova. How did you manage to engage children in this project for such a long time?
Actually, it was not that difficult because it was self-rewarding. So when you see that you are doing something, you feel gratified. It was not assessed. So they had no evaluation attached to it. And in that sense, they felt that they own it, and it wasn't a problem to motivate. Sometimes, as you see, they continued even when it wasn't required any longer.
That's really cool. That, I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people are thinking about starting something similar right now. Thank you for inspiring us.
It's a pleasure. I got that much myself today.
Okay, then if we don't have any more questions for Lucia, this is it for tonight. And now we have a Q&A. So if you have any questions left and you want to ask anybody anything, well, it's your chance. Okay, Philippa. Philippa is asking, are we having it again next week? We are going to have it again, but in 2 weeks. It's a bi-weekly event because we are all active teachers. And it's unfortunately, it's not possible to have it every week. But yes, we are meeting again, and if I'm correct, let me open my calendar because it's a Groundhog Day for all of us. We're meeting on the 26th of April, same time, same place, Zoom conference. Okay, we have a question to all teachers from Yekaterina Balaganska. How do you evaluate the effectiveness of online lessons against normal offline lessons? Yes. Anybody? Because I can't answer this question, and I mean, I don't have my normal tools which I use to evaluate the effectiveness of my classroom. I have my informal assessment tools like classroom journals and checklists that I still use with my students, but tests are a problem at the moment. Checking homework is also kind of difficult because of different things, like some students cannot use Google Classroom, they don't know how or they're not willing to. Some students cannot use Google Documents, so on and so forth. So at the moment, I'm just trying to support my students and get them to this stage, get them to the next academic year where hopefully we'll be able to meet in our normal classroom and basically start again. And I want to keep them alive and engaged and interested. What about you?
Me?
Assessment. Yes, assessment. It's we have 33 people in this classroom, so assessment. Please, effectiveness. What do you think?
For me, maybe it's too early to talk about it. Yes, it's been 2 weeks, yes, that we've been teaching via Zoom. It's getting better right now, so I can see, and students, they basically took them a while to get used to these online lessons, and maybe only now they're slowly starting to be engaged and produce things that I want them basically to produce, and finally they get used to the idea that they're talking to the computer and not to the real people in the class.
Okay.
I think I consider my lessons to be effective, especially with adults and teenagers, as well as with superminds. I just use tons of different tools, not only Foxit Reader, PowerPoint presentation, videos, Google Documents, in order to make it more productive.
Okay, Ben wants to say something, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks, Vita. Yeah, I just with a question about assessment. There was a post on the Cambridge website which I'll just copy into the chat, and it kind of mentions about what you were saying. Some students have problems with Google, the Google Suite, and this is a solution thinking about using Google Forms. And again, unfortunately, it's more work for teachers because you've got to make it. But it's one idea about assessment. I think in terms of my own teens and young adult classes, I still send out the end of unit assessment and collect that back. And I think you could, if you wanted to see how effective is your class, perhaps then online class, you could just look at the data you get from that summative assessment and compare it with previous summative assessments you've done, but with only a short time frame of data. You'd have to, it's difficult to say how effective it is after a week to 3 weeks. It would need to see several months, I think, because there might be other factors involved, like how well they're doing with the technology or how much stress they're experiencing with the pandemic situation. Like there's a lot more going on beyond their language ability right now. There's a lot more to consider. So.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for the link. And we have some numbers here. So Edward is saying that his personal effectiveness feels like 80%. Anka is saying it's about 79 to 90%, depending. Yeah, I find that somehow I'm more effective with younger kids, with younger learners than with teenagers, for example. I know why. And again, Ben has mentioned tests. Like we had huge tests at BKC that would take 1 or even 1.5 lesson, and I would ensure that the students don't cheat and etc. Well, with online classes, it's a different story. So again, it's a question we need to answer.
Yeah, if I may say
Yes,
my opinion,
please.
I think it's a bit unfair to compare it, to ask it like that. How effective is it compared to real life face-to-face lessons? Because the medium is completely different, right? So I feel like it's more appropriate to ask how effective it is, and finish the question at that. I usually assess how my lessons have been by how lively my students look, throughout the lesson, and by the end of it, if they're willing, if they can keep going or not. So far, I've been teaching adults, and so far they've been enjoying it, and it's been successful like that. As far as being effective goes, as some other people said, I think it's a matter of habit. We are learning, they are learning, and we have to train ourselves. And I think that after that, we might be very effective at it. It would be just a matter of time.
Ben, want to say something? Ben, please. So over to you.
No, sorry. I just didn't put my hand down. I left it up. Sorry. I'll relax.
Okay. Again, I don't think we need to be that hard on ourselves. Like, I'm 90% compared to my normal, usual self. Well, we are not in a normal situation. So basically, it's different. So our measure of effectiveness should be different. And come on, guys, teachers, it's hard. It's very hard for teachers at the moment. So let's not drive ourselves crazy being perfect. Let's just survive, and in September we're going to have wonderful lessons in our normal classroom. Anka, please go.
I just wanted to say that it's like with everything else, that you don't have to. I think it's Rory's quote. Is it Rory? I don't know if Rory is still here. That you don't need to compare yourself to your previous self, but within.
What are you blaming me for?
No, but Rory. What is it? What is it that you say on this poster that is in the classrooms?
Don't compare yourself to others. Please compare yourself to yourself yesterday.
Exactly. And by yesterday here, so Rory, it's good, it's a compliment here. I think, comparing yourself to the first online lesson, to the second online lesson with this particular group, because we are growing, and in a way, like we are, and probably it hurts even more if you are, the more you experience you are, the more it hurts in a way, because we've kind of already gained this confidence in teaching. We enter the classroom and we like, we can do the lesson and have a very good lesson. Whereas here we are in new circumstances, and you kind of have to accept that, damn it, I'm a beginner again, and you kind of start from the beginning in some ways, right? But I think we also get better. So for example, for me, this moment really, on Thursday my kids were doing the pair work. Some of them are 7, some of them are 8. I managed to put them into groups. They were doing pair works. I was eavesdropping in rooms, and I was like, okay, I'm done. Okay, I'm done. I'm happy. I can die. I've achieved everything that I wanted when it comes to online. We are happy. But of course, that's not everything. And I have developed, and this is something that I personally can be proud of. I really hate online, to be honest with you. Like, eventually, I can say this. I hate it. But I'm developing, and I'm like, I started using Foxit Reader on Tuesday or whenever it was that I happily I managed to say that, yeah, Foxit Reader now. So, and the lessons are better. So it's basically from one little thing to another little thing, and then hopefully the effectiveness or the happiness that we take from teaching will be better. Yes, Felipe.
No, just to agree with you that I think it's very hard. Like lots of people throughout today have commented how they're unhappy with the situation having to teach online because this doesn't work. Breakout rooms is not perfect. But so I think it's a reminder that we should not strive for perfection. Not to mean that we shouldn't do our best. We should, but it's human nature to always want more than we currently have. So it's easy to always find fault at stuff. But I think it's a good reminder to do your best and enjoy the success that you're getting. Because you always want more success, but that doesn't mean that you're doing is not good.
Absolutely.
But this is also the self-reflection after each lesson. Like I liked what Tatiana mentioned, for example,
Yes.
about, you know, like assessing not in only the language, but assessing how technological or how technologically successful the lesson was as well. And but in any way, we do reflect after each lesson. Well, in the real world as well, and so it is here. And we, you know, this was rubbish today. It's not, come on, it's not that we have 100% amazing classes when we are in the classroom. No, kids are annoying, they do things, they come tired, they come sick, you come sick, but it doesn't mean that it's the end. Like, you, okay, today, right, I'm gonna do better next time, even though, as you said, Felipe, we want the best possible, and that's good, I guess. Yeah. Any other questions that we have here from people? All righty. Yes, Svetlana.
Maybe just a quick announcement. Like, please feel free to type into this Facebook group that we've created, like suggestions or anything that you're interested or you have problems with, and you want us to present on maybe still some technologies or maybe something already, like, I don't know, teaching writing or vocabulary adults. Like, what things would you like to see like next time?
Would it be possible to have it? Sorry. Would it be possible to have it somewhere that's not Facebook? Because, for example, I don't have an account.
We have a Felipe. We have a WhatsApp group.
We will add you. Yeah, I will add you in a moment. Yeah.
Actually,
are you still using your? Are you still using the same number, or do you?
Yeah, I'm still using my Russian one.
All right. So I'll add you in a second. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, Svetlana is reading my mind, because I would like to ask you to write in the chat right now at the moment, like, what are you interested in? What should we prepare for you in 2 weeks? Because my personal challenge is my teenagers. So I would like to have other people tell me what to do, how to solve my personal problem. So if you have a personal challenge, please post it in the chat box, and we'll try to make it happen.
Yeah.
Because we are putting a program together.
Teenagers. Yes.
Teenagers. So I'm pushing it. That's a model. An example.
Yes, because we were thinking that the first 2 events were rather general, because we don't know anything, so we need to learn. But then we can move on from now into something more specific. So the topic or the theme of the next one can be, for example, pair work without breakout rooms. Okay. We were thinking of like making the session, or the sessions rather, in the future more age group specific, so focusing only on teenagers.
Pair work without breakout rooms. Abracadabra, let's make it happen.
Okay, classroom management and discipline, yes, and craft, yes. Okay.
Crafts, okay. We can do crafts, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my camera to come.
I've been experimenting with the whiteboard function in Zoom, so if anyone has experimented as well, and they would have something to share about it.
Robbie, if you want, like, I don't know, we are going to add you to because we had last time, we had 2 sessions on Zoom, like the basic and the other thing. So if you just if you join our Facebook group, then the video has been the video, right, the recording has been uploaded there, so you can check it out basically and see whether there's anything interesting there or anything useful.
Maybe somebody can post the link now, because I'm afraid of touching anything on my computer, because it's being recorded at the moment. So maybe somebody can just copy paste the link
to the Facebook group,
to the Google Drive account. To the yes, it's on Facebook somewhere.
Yeah. I'm looking. Yes, 1 second. 1 second.
So we have juniors. We have one. Very young learners 1-to-1s. Okay.
Yes. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, Robbie, it's I'm a teacher. What's your superpower? Uh-huh.
This one.
Freezes.
I'm looking for it. I'll be there in a
I think
moment.
Edward has already posted. Thanks, Edward, for doing that.
Oh,
yes.
that was fast. Thank you, Ed. Great. So there are things out there. Yep. Cool.
Excellent
indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ed.
Uh-huh. And WhatsApp. Uh-huh. Edward, thank you so much. Okay, we have a link to join our WhatsApp group in our chat box as well right now. So you just copy paste it. Okay. Instruments for crafts and big projects with young learners, how to make a lesson less dependent on a computer screen. Very good. Okay, I've very good question. I've been experimenting with using a second webcam, and yes, and I mean it's kind of fun, and it's possible to demonstrate crafts like that. Again, of course, children need to look at the screen all the time, but you can create things simultaneously. I don't know if you are interested. Next time, perhaps I could show you how it's done.
Giving feedback. Okay, getting feedback. It's great. Okay, great.
Starting next week. Ali, thank you so much.
Yes, Ali. Thank you so much, Ali. It's so nice to have you here. Ali was our teacher in the past, and she was my first flatmate in Moscow, BKCIH. Yes, Ali. Okay. Yes?
Okay then.
Okay then.
If you have any more ideas or suggestions, please find us, WhatsApp us, post it on our Facebook wall, PM us. Yeah, we don't mind. We would love it. Yes. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your wonderful ideas. We hope to see you here in 2 weeks. Yes. Pencil it in, 26th of April, 5 o'clock, 5 p.m.
Or whatever time it is where you are now. Yes. Thank you very much. Happy Easter to everybody. We have forgotten to say this. Happy Yuri Gagarin's Day. I don't know if you're celebrating, but it's a thing to remember today as well. And yeah, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for the ideas, and see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
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 See you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.